what's up, everybody? We are recording this podcast for the Working for a Living Fantasy Football League. So we have a lot of conversations in the year, and we thought we might record one and see how stupid we sound. So I've got Tyler here.
Hello.
And Travis.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some football. So, all right. So let's start talking about the playoffs and Super Bowl. So what do you guys think? Any general thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously, Patriots won the Super Bowl again, which was kind of surprising if you go back to the beginning of the playoffs, but it's also kind of surprising that it's surprising. You know what I mean?
I feel like we have this conversation every year about
Feels,
the Patriots.
Yeah.
So first game against the Chargers. I don't think anybody expected it to go that way.
No, I don't think so.
Pretty much domination. So I think the real story is kind of their defense.
100%.
Right?
No, their defense was awesome.
Their offensive line as well, because I thought that Bosa was going to destroy Brady. That did not happen.
No. Well, and the Chiefs had the most sacks throughout the year. And
Also,
so that next week they didn't get a sack.
Did you watch the game against the Chargers-Baltimore game? No. Tyler?
Yeah.
So they destroyed their defensive line. Just destroyed them.
Yeah.
I mean, their pass rush was awesome, which is why they beat them. I told my dad I thought that they were going to dominate. But that's kind of the other story with the Patriots too, is their offensive line, ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I mean, they stepped up big time.
Mm-hmm. They lost a couple players throughout the season.
But that's kind of Patriots though, right? Like their team in at the end of the year is not who they start out with, right? I mean, that's just not. They evolve better than anybody else. They adapt better than anybody else.
Well, it's also not really about the players for them.
Yeah, they just know how to win big games.
They know how. Yeah,
it's what they do. So they win an individual game over a whole season.
Yeah.
I think the common consensus was that they were going to take a huge step back, mostly on offensive line, and that they took a step up.
Yeah.
Because who they lose? Solder?
Yeah.
I think they lost a few others.
NFC, I don't think there was any real big shocks, right? I mean, it kind of seemed like
Colts came out. Oh, that's AFC.
NFC. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Came down to the Rams, Saints. Obviously, there was a controversial call on that game.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought the Saints should have won, but
I didn't feel too bad for him, to be honest. I mean,
it's the way it goes.
I mean, if Breeze didn't throw that pick in overtime, we wouldn't be talking about it,
Right?
You know, but
Yeah,
I felt like they kind of leaned on that a little bit.
Sure. It's just like any bad call in any sporting game ever.
Didn't someone get a billboard in the city of the Super Bowl in
Yes.
Atlanta?
They're really upset about it. Which I mean,
I would have been too, and I kind of was just because I picked the Saints. So I mean, I was kind of mad, but I'm like, I should have got that call right, but.
So what do you think?
It is what it is.
Drew Brees comes back next year?
Yeah.
Pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be what, 41? He's pretty.
Is he?
Getting up there. I
thought
think
he
he's
was
older than you think.
I thought he was. He's younger than Brady though, right? Brady's 41.
I think Brady already turned 41, so Drew Brees is
I think
just
he's like
turned
39.
40.
I think
Just
they're,
turned 40
they're
on the 15th.
both pretty close to producing gasoline at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
almost fossil fuels.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't really. I mean, Brees was an MVP candidate, so I mean, obviously, great season. Didn't have the numbers of Mahomes, so how do you guys feel about that? Mahomes winning MVP.
He should have.
Yeah. I think a lot of people didn't want him to win. That's why if he didn't, I wouldn't have been surprised. Just
Fair.
because he hadn't really earned.
You kind of want to,
Yeah, you want to see a vet get it, and he
That is earned it,
got
yeah.
it. Which
I mean, Breeze has never got it, and you feel like,
is that true?
yeah,
Wow.
Damn, I would have
Yeah,
totally guessed.
yeah.
that he
Breeze
would've.
probably should have. Breeze probably should have.
I think that's why everybody was looking, like at the beginning of the year, and when it was close. I mean, I think everybody was leaning towards Breeze will probably get it because he more of a lifetime achievement award at that point. You know, he's never had one. He needs one.
Kind of felt like it would have been right. Like
Yeah.
that's how you write the story.
Right.
I don't think anybody was surprised by Aaron Donald winning
No.
Defensive Player of the Year. I know you liked Mac.
I love Mac.
Yeah.
I love Mac. I actually think. Of course, I don't watch the Rams like I watch the Bears, so I can't comment too much on it. But it feels to me like Mac had a bigger impact on the Bears defense than Donald has on the Rams defense.
I think if you put the numbers next to each other, though.
No, the number, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. His numbers were better. I just think the impact on the team, I think Max was greater.
Yeah, I think probably working in Aaron Donald's favor was that he played 16 games this year.
Yeah,
And Mac played what?
he missed a couple, and even at the beginning of the year when he wasn't missing games, he had just got over there, so he didn't play as much.
So Aaron Donald was 2 sacks away from the record.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
and that's from an interior position.
Right.
Interior pressure is harder to avoid. So I mean, I 100% understand why he got Defensive Player of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
And if I would have had a vote, just to clarify, if I had to vote on that, I would have voted for Donald to win it. I think he should have won it. I just honestly think Mac. And again, this could be just because I'm a Bears fan and watch them play a lot more, obviously. But watching their defense with and without him, it's a totally different defense. I mean,
he kind of had his flashes, though. I mean,
Sure.
he would dominate one game and then be a little quiet. There were some games when he came back and.
Right, but if they're giving him and this could be with Donald too, because it's not like I've watched a lot of Rams games without Donald, but when they're paying as much attention as they did to Mac and Akeem Hicks is on the inside tearing stuff up, it's because maybe not fully because of Mac. I'm not trying to take any of the credit away from Hicks, but that defense is just a different animal with him on it.
Yeah. So offensive rookie of the year, Saquon Barkley. Nobody's surprised.
No. Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
A couple other players in there.
If I had a vote, I would have voted for Saquon. I think he should have won it.
I think Baker was in the
But
mix.
I think if you would have asked me before, I would have bet Baker would have won it.
Really?
Yeah. And he broke the record for passing touchdowns by a rookie, and he did it in 3 less games.
He did. Pretty impressive. I mean, there was even an argument for Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
There. Of course, I'm a Colts fan.
You might be a little biased on that one.
Yeah, which it's hard to gauge the success of an offensive lineman as a casual fan.
Yeah, an offensive lineman's just not going to win it.
Right. Would have been awesome, though. I mean...
that guy's a stud, though, and should be for a long time.
Yeah, they said when he got drafted that he's like an automatic Hall of Famer.
Yeah, get the gold jacket ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they said that about Luck, too.
Yeah, he very well could be.
He could be.
Yeah.
Well, this was the first year he's really had a decent offensive line, right?
Arguably one of the best.
Probably.
Yeah, and I'm saying but before, I don't think he's ever had an offensive line.
That's probably true. It's always been a...
I'm just
a
saying,
weakness.
slow down on the immediate anointment of a future Hall of Famer.
Sure.
Even with a guy like Andrew Luck, show me something.
Right.
Yeah, right. I understand what you're saying.
Other side, Darius Leonard, defensive rookie there. That's pretty impressive. I watched his highlights. If you look at his stats, I mean, for a rookie, I think he led the league in tackles.
Yeah.
Super impressive.
You gotta be, as a Colts fan, you have to be pretty excited about their future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That pretty much rounds up that.
I think the thing you might be most excited about is just how good Andrew Luck looked as he progressed through the season.
Yeah.
Because those first few games, it was like he might not ever be the same. He may be done.
Yeah.
But I don't know, week 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, he started to get some of his arm strength back and started to look good.
I've seen some early draft boards, and Luck is the number 2 quarterback ranked next year after Mahomes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And who else would it be?
Man.
Tom Brady in our league.
Could be.
Sure.
Depends on where Justin drafts.
Yeah, right.
I hope he listens to this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you would take Luck over Rodgers. Obviously, looking at last year.
So,
but Rodgers has done it for.
Sure, we're going to see who. I mean, there's still some free agents to be signed. I mean, did the Colts get Brown? That might change things.
That would absolutely change things.
I mean, I don't think anybody would say that the Green Bay receivers don't need help, right?
No, they do.
Cobb's kind of getting old. I mean, they have Adams, of course, but
Adams is a stud, and they had 2 rookies this year that played well in flashes.
MVS more so than Brown.
Right.
Was it Equanimus?
Yeah, however.
Yeah. Equanimous.
Equanimous St. Brown? Yeah, I think that's what his name is.
All right, so switching gears really quick back to the Super Bowl. So obviously Edelman won the MVP. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Are you asking will he be a Hall of Famer? Or in my mind, should he be a Hall of Famer?
I'd say probably as of now with his career. I mean, obviously he's still a young man.
Is he that young?
I don't think he's as old as you think he is.
I would have pegged him at 30, maybe 31.
That's probably
32?
right, but
Somewhere in that range.
But
I mean-
other than Randy Moss, is there a Patriots receiver that's going to be a Hall of Famer? And Randy Moss, you really
Tim
Yeah,
Brown.
one season.
Tim Brown? Probably not. So actually, he's 32. He's a little bit older than I thought. He's
Yeah.
going to be 33, but you could see him being effective for, 2-3 more years?
Yeah, probably.
Depends on how many more injuries.
Yeah, that's true too.
He's got,
Has he played a full season?
I'm not sure.
I know he has.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
I don't know when.
So he's not a touchdown guy.
Yeah. No, the only argument that you've seen for Hall of Fame is just his postseason numbers.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because you're looking at his regular season stats: 499 receptions, 5,390 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Doesn't jump off the page.
No, there's receivers that are not in the Hall of Fame that have better numbers.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the argument of weighing the postseason more, and I'd be interested to see what his numbers were his average per postseason game, because I don't think you can look at just his receiving yards and his receptions in the postseason. That's not fair. How many more postseason games has he played than most?
He really has. Yeah, it doesn't really break it down like that. I can't really find him easily.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a stat somewhere that somebody knows, but if you're asking me, like I said, if I was a Hall of Fame voter,
Not yet.
I would not vote him in.
He's got a couple more years, but honestly, looking at those stats, I just don't see it happening. So what about the Rams? Their offense was terrible in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl, yeah. Well, clearly to me, Todd Gurley's hurt.
I mean, that's not entirely true. They had a record-setting punt on offense, right?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
so
They
the
did.
entire offense.
It was impressive. Hecker had a good game.
It's
He did.
56 yard something.
You know what? He got a real good bounce.
Yeah,
He got a real good
it was
bounce.
a good bounce. Beat it by 1 yard.
But what
To be
about,
fair, that's what it's going to take to get the record, though.
but fantasy-wise, what does that do for their draft? You know, these guys in the draft next year. I mean, everybody's talking about downgrading Gurley.
Well, I think there's two arguments to downgrade Gurley. I'm not gonna use the Super Bowl against him because I truthfully believe he was hurt. However, C.J. Anderson played well.
In the playoffs or the Super Bowl?
In the playoffs,
Playoffs, I agree.
In general,
Super Bowl, pretty
Super
good.
Bowl, yeah, he looked better than Gurley.
They just didn't run much.
They didn't run much. And I think that was more Belichick than a knock against the Patriots, a knock against the Rams. But if they bring C.J. Anderson back, like I said, he looked good. I mean, it wasn't even just the playoffs, right? I mean, it was like
It
week
was the last
16,
couple
17.
games, yeah. I mean, you got to think that they'd be kind of crazy not to, right?
Yeah, I would think they would want to bring him back.
There's great depth.
I assume it comes down to how much money it would take to sign him, and I don't know that kind of thing. But
I mean, he didn't sign a very big deal whenever he left Denver. But
right, but I think he proved a little more.
so let's say the Rams do sign him.
So if they sign him, and they're talking about, is it their left tackle, Whitworth?
Not coming back.
Retiring this year. Oh, if that happens, that downgrades Gurley in my mind.
So where do you think he falls then?
I mean,
In
he's
your
still-
opinion, where would you take him?
He's still top 3 back.
Okay.
No matter if both of those things happen,
If you make an argument that he's top 3, you might as well say he could go number 1.
he could go number 1. He absolutely could go number 1. But I think before the last, if you'd asked him week 15, he's
Consensus.
clearly the number 1, and he's in a tier of his own. I don't think he's in a tier of his own anymore.
Well, he did have that down year. Don't forget that year.
Yeah,
I
Terrible
remember
year.
that year.
yeah, I'm
have
sure
him?
you do.
Yeah. I remember that year.
I mean, I honestly, I put him in the same tier as Zeke and Saquon. I mean, I just think there's an argument for you to take either one of those guys or both of those guys up ahead of him.
And what about Connor? Where does Connor sit? Assuming Bell's not going to play there.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to play there. I mean, I think the earliest I could see taking Connor would be 5.
That's rough. That means you're taking him before Kamara.
I can see an argument for taking him before Kamara, yeah.
Gordon.
I like Gordon. It'd be hard to take him above Gordon.
So
But
here's the thing about Gordon. His use at the end of the year was a little suspect.
yeah.
They really worked in Eckler a lot more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's super talented.
I'd say he was playing super well too, though.
Yeah, when he got hurt, he kind of came back and was a little gimped. But
Is there an argument to take anybody? So we didn't really talk about 4, but Christian McCaffrey is 4, right? I mean, like he's kind of that next tier. Is there an argument to take anybody over him? Any other guys? Would you take Connor or Kamara or Gordon?
not in the PPR league. I mean, he caught
Right.
what?
Which is our. Which I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, that kind of depends on where Le'Veon Bell ends up playing.
You think there's a situation where he might go ahead of him, depending on where he goes?
Yeah. Because, I mean, he's still young, right?
26. He might be 27
He
by
is
next
pretty
year.
young. I mean, I think somebody could, but McCaffrey ended up as the number 2 offensive player, not quarterback in the NFL after Barkley,
Yeah.
and it was very close.
In a year Bell didn't play.
True. I am expecting Bell to go like somewhere like the
Did somebody
Jets or something.
table draft Bell? I'm just wondering if you want to talk about Bell.
Can you draft him next year? Will you draft him no matter where he goes?
Well,
Yeah.
he better fall. That's all I'm saying.
Could you see yourself drafting him? Let's say he goes.
If I'm in the top 5 picks.
Let's say he goes to the Texans. He goes to the Texans. Could you?
Boy, you picked a good one.
I know. Could you pick? That's what I do. Would you pick like let's say you're pick 9? Could you see
At 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see myself taking him at 9.
Yeah.
So Christian McCaffrey finished 0.3 points behind Barkley in our league. So he basically was the number 1 running back. They're both RB1 in my mind. What if he goes to Colts?
But the thing between those two, like,
You wouldn't take him?
you wouldn't take Bell if he goes to the Colts.
No.
Really. You like him better at the Texans. I like him better. That's like the team that I first. If you're just talking about fantasy purposes, and I'm a Bell owner, like if I was a Bell owner in Dynasty,
Well, just
That's
the
what I'm hoping
defense
for.
has to play back more because of Deshaun Watson.
yeah,
So, I mean, they're not going to stack as well as they can against the Colts
Yeah.
because Luck's probably not going to get out on the edges.
well, and the Texans probably have a better offense in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Colts offensive line is a really good run blocking line.
Yeah. But I mean, Lamar Miller, he had some games this year.
He had a
He
great
looked
year.
good.
Of course,
He had a couple.
drafted him.
He waited till after I traded him.
Well, of course, that's
Yeah.
what they do.
All right, so what about Tom Brady?
Oh, wait, I wanted to touch on that real quick because you said basically McCaffrey and Saquon in basically the same points for all intents and purposes, but I put Saquon in a tier above him because could you really see? I mean, is there room for Christian McCaffrey to get better, or was this his ceiling? Because to me, this feels like more his ceiling.
It does, and he had 107 catches. I mean, for a running back, is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I mean, the percentage of snaps he had.
Yeah, he was on the field for 99% of offensive snaps. 6 receiving touchdowns to Barkley's 4. You got to think Barkley's number goes up.
I would think, and that offense was bad. So if he put those numbers up on a bad offense, I think there's a huge ceiling for Saquon.
11 rushing touchdowns. I mean, heck, that could even go up.
Could go up. It probably won't, but it could. The offense would have to be a lot better for me to expect more than that.
So you think that there's an argument to take McCaffrey? You think Barkley's clear cut?
I think Barkley's clear cut. I think Gurley's clear cut. I think Zeke. To me, all 3 of those guys are clear cut above McCaffrey. But then I think kind of McCaffrey, to me, is probably in the next tier by himself.
Well, while we're talking about Elliott, are the Cowboys going to do anything about the receiving core?
You would think, but
I don't know. I don't know what
they.
I don't know what happens with. I mean, what do they think they have in Amari Cooper?
I mean, did
Obviously,
Des
number 1
Bryant
pick.
die?
No, but he'll never be back in
I
Dallas.
think as far as fantasy goes, yes. Yeah, he
That's
did.
probably fair.
I don't know. I don't think you.
Is he still owned by the Saints?
Uh,
Because they signed him, he got hurt in practice, so is he
I
technically
don't know
still
how
there?
that works. If he did, it was probably a one.
Yeah, I'm sure he signed a 1-year deal. I gotta assume he's done.
I think he'll try to come back. He's still only like 29.
Yeah.
He'll try to come back. But if he's effective, I mean, he may come back and have like one game where he's 100 yards, but
Yeah.
I doubt he has a season where he's a consistent
Right.
producer. So okay, so Tom Brady, is he draftable next year? Like, period. Would you draft him?
So
At this table? No.
yeah, I don't think so.
No.
No, well, I mean, it depends.
Do I see him getting drafted in our draft? Yes.
Yeah, he'll get drafted, but do you think he's a top 12 quarterback next year?
No, I don't. Was he this year?
I'm gonna say no.
I doubt he finished in the top 12. Oh, he
I bet
might
he's in the
have.
top 12.
He might have.
I bet he's in the top 12. He's on the lower half of that, obviously, but
Man, he had some
some duds.
weeks that were bad.
14.
Really?
That's about So, but to me, any of those guys that are like 10 to
I mean, when you have bye
15,
weeks, he's startable. He's a QB1.
yeah, he's going to have go against weak defenses and stuff. And so the way I draft quarterbacks is different than most. Obviously, I'm not going to draft a quarterback early, and so it depends on what his week one matchup. If he has a real soft week one matchup and nobody drafts him, yeah, I'd draft him just to start week one and then drop him, pick somebody else up.
Yeah, if you're going to stream quarterback. I mean, if you're not going to get one of the top 5 guys, I mean, you almost.
Let's get real. I'm going to stream. I know what I'm going to do next year. I've done it the last 3 years. I'm going to stream quarterback.
So here's another person we don't know what their future is going to look like. Rob Gronkowski. I think he's coming back.
You think? I think he's pretty clear he was going to retire, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he looked pretty good in the Super Bowl. He looked like, I mean, he wasn't.
It was his last game.
Yeah, could have been. Could have been. I think for as far as being a dominant fantasy tight end, I don't think we'll see that again.
So he's not a tight end. Is he a tight end 1?
If he plays next year and he plays 16 games, he'll be a tight end 1. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything because look how bad tight ends are. I mean, you got your top.
Yeah, it's not hard to be a tight end 1.
Yeah, you got your top few, tight ends, but then past that,
Although several tight ends emerged this year. Obviously Kittle's
Kittle's a stud.
OJ.
Yeah.
I mean, I think next year the deal with tight ends, you draft the one with the best beard and then work your way down.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, when Gronkowski retires, I think that's how it works.
Okay.
I mean, several tight ends emerged this year. Eric Ebron, Jared Cook.
Ebron.
What do you think about Ebron?
Ooh,
You like Ebron?
I like Ebron.
I like Ebron.
I think Ebron continues to success. I'm not sure he gets 13 touchdowns next year, but I think he is
I'd take
upper.
I'd take the under on that for sure.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I think he's a top 6 tight end.
I liked him as a Lion.
Even with Doyle?
I think he's the touchdown scorer on that team.
Is this just me, or does Doyle seem to never be the main guy? Like we all think he's going to be, and then it's someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's tight end.
Doyle's a smokescreen.
He could be.
He's a good producer as far as he gets a lot of catches. If he's healthy.
I can't see myself owning Ebron next year. I mean, obviously you'd love to have Kelsey, Ertz.
I think where Ebron's going to get drafted, I don't
Probably
think
won't.
anybody here is going to grab him, but
Yeah, I don't see it either.
like where he's going to get projected and where I believe the people in our league will grab him.
Where do you think he goes? 5th?
5th round?
5th round? Because, I mean, Kelsey and Ertz are going to go to the 3rd, 4th.
Kelsey might go in the 2nd.
I guess he could. Yeah, he could. He had a great year.
Yeah, he's finished. What he's finished? He was first this year, second last year, first the year before. So 3 seasons he's finished in the top 2.
And doesn't seem to be affected by quarterback changes.
Yeah, and that offense is amazing.
Anthony Gonzalez, man.
And I think I heard a stat that if he was a wide receiver, he would have been like the number 8 or 9 wide receiver.
I would believe it. I mean, he had 103 catches, 10 touchdowns. I mean, that's great.
I would. I mean, depending on where I'm drafting and what I think my team's going to look like, I could totally see myself taking him in the 2nd.
If you would draft Gronk, you would draft him.
Yeah, and I wanted Gronk this year.
So
I mean, I'm glad Justin got the pick ahead of me because if he would have taken Michael Thomas and Gronk would have fell one more pick, I would have taken Gronk.
So who had more catches, Ertz or Kelsey?
I assume Kelsey.
Ertz.
Really?
He had 116 catches.
Wow.
Is that because of Nick Foles?
That's always because of Nick Foles. No, actually, he had 8 touchdowns as well. I mean, he had a great year. I think Ertz kind of started strong.
Oh, he's a stud.
And he was a little slow at the end of the season, so he's not getting the, people aren't talking about him as much.
Well, he's not on as good of an offense.
Kittle only 5 touchdowns.
Dude, Kittle has a huge ceiling.
Only 88 catches. I mean, only. That's great for a tight
Yeah,
end.
88 catches, still had more yards, right? Most yards of any tight end
1977.
ever.
So that's the thing, though. He had a lot of big plays.
He did
That's
have a lot
tough
of big
to
plays.
repeat.
He did have a lot of big plays, but no Jimmy Garoppolo for most of the season. I mean, the offense was not good.
Didn't matter for him, but you think that's an upgrade when he gets Jimmy G back?
I think, yeah, you get Jimmy G back, you get McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going to do as far as weapons on the outside. I think they like Dante Pettis quite a bit.
I think so too. I think he steps up to take Garcon's role. I mean, obviously, Goodwin I think is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Hard to say what he does next year with the healthy Jimmy G, but
Well, it's hard to predict injuries, but this is 2 years in a row Garoppolo's gotten hurt pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When he was in
Fair.
for relief of Brady, what did he get?
Sure.
2-3 games in and was out, and then
Sure.
what did he get in this year? Did he?
He played he got injured in week 3, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough to call injuries, but
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
what
it's
are we
not.
expecting out of Garoppolo here?
I
Is there a full
expect him to. Yeah, I would expect a full season.
He went to the same college as Romo. That means he's going to get hurt.
that's true. That is true.
And I would expect their offense to be better this year.
So, we'll play a little game.
Okay.
It's called Target or Farget.
They play that in prison.
We're not going to talk about that. So basically, I just want to know: are you going to target him, or
Forget him.
are you going to forget him?
Do we have to say Farget?
No, I prefer nobody ever says that again. So the first one we kind of already talked about a little bit, but Todd Gurley.
I mean,
It's hard to target him unless you're a high pick.
Yeah.
So that's
But
gonna
let's say
dictate
you
the
have-
draft.
Let's say you have the 2nd pick overall.
if I had the 2nd pick overall and Gurley is there, I'd probably take him. I don't know.
So let's say that number 1 off the board was Saquon Barkley. You take Gurley over Zeke. Because I don't think I would. I think I'd take Zeke.
Yeah, I might take Zeke too.
I might even take
That's a
McCaffrey.
tough. You take McCaffrey over Gurley?
No, maybe not. That didn't sound... It sounded better in my head.
Didn't like it once I heard it out loud.
Yeah. But Zeke, I think I would take Zeke over Gurley.
That's pretty fair. I mean,
Zeke is some people's number 1 overall.
yeah, you can't really fault anybody. For me, like I said, those top 3 guys are in the same tier. And you're just going to have to try to find a way to split hairs between them. So, yeah, hard to say target, but yeah, if I got a top 3 pick and he's there, absolutely I can see myself grabbing him.
Zeke ended as the number 5, so RB5. His touchdowns weren't as bad as you think. So he had 9 total.
I'm still going to buy into a Rams offense before I buy into a Cowboys offense personally.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I like about Zeke, though. Well, okay, he finished 5 overall running back, but what did it look like after they got Cooper? How much better was he in the last 7 weeks
I mean,
than he was
I
in the
get
first
it,
9?
but when you're talking about opportunity, like just opportunity on the field to make a play, you're looking at a lot more opportunity with a Gurley over a Zeke.
Yeah. No,
So-
I agree.
So you're drafting the ceiling there at the 2nd position.
Well,
So.
I totally agree with you. Assuming that they don't bring C.J. Anderson back, and assuming that I'm pretty sure it's their left tackle. It's that Whitworth. Whatever. Anyway, assuming he doesn't retire, because if their offensive line gets a lot worse, and they bring C.J. Anderson to spell Gurley, which, I mean, realistically, if I'm not talking about it as a fantasy owner, but if I'm the owner of the Rams,
Yeah, he needs a few less.
yeah,
touches.
you want him
You gotta
to.
protect.
You want to extend his career, I would
Well, and
think.
that might honestly make his play-by-play better if he's got
Sure,
more
he might
of a
be
break,
more efficient.
effective.
Yeah, but less opportunity.
Zeke's number 6
Fair.
in average, 21.94 points per game.
Who passed him? Connor, probably.
Connor was right after him at 7.
Oh, really?
So it goes Gurley, Barkley, Gurley by a lot, Barkley, McCaffrey, Kamara, Gordon, Elliott. Derrick Henry.
Oh, you know what? Actually, real quick before we do this, because we're talking about the top running backs, let's assume for a second that Ingram goes somewhere else and is not a Saint. How does
Someone else fills that role?
You think?
I think they still. You can't give Kamara 300 carries.
They're not going to bring somebody in that's as good as Ingram, though. They'll bring somebody else in.
That's true. It depends on what Mark wants. I mean, if he thinks he can get that money, he's going.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to pay him.
But look at how good Kamara was when Ingram was not there.
That's
He was
true.
the number one running back in the league.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, could you see an argument of taking him as one of those top 3 backs if there's no Ingram?
How many games did Ingram miss?
6.
4. I guess 4 game suspension, right?
Maybe it's 4.
So, yeah, but Kamara started off
Boom, boom, boom,
43, boom. 17.9, 34, 41.
Yeah.
That's historic.
Well, LaDainian Tomlinson.
All right.
Did he start that good, though?
LT?
I'm sure he had some stretches there.
Yeah, probably so.
I bet you can pull 4 games that were stronger on
Yeah.
LT.
Yeah, so Kamara had a little lull there in the middle of the season, but his week 15, 23.3, week 16, 26.5.
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud for sure, but
So Derrick Henry, target or not?
Not for me.
that's a tough one for me. It all depends on where he goes. He's the exact type of running back that I would like to have in the 4th or 5th round.
So a lot of talk went into how many carries he got. Of course, the big game, 17 for 238, 4 touchdowns, 47.8 fantasy points, full PPR. The next week he had 33 touches. I think he had 32 at like half.
Yeah.
So that was all first half. The next week, 21, and then down to 16. So it kind of started to go the other way. That doesn't worry you?
It worries me enough to where, like I said, I'm not spending the top 3 one of my top 3 rounds.
Okay.
Tennessee as an organization has some work to do, in my opinion. I mean,
well, they're going to have a new offensive coordinator this year. But I think I heard that the system is not changing.
Really?
So the system is the same because it was Matt LaFleur, and he's in Chicago. No,
Green Bay.
That's right, Green Bay. If he comes out week 1 and has 30 carries, you might regret it, right?
Yeah. I mean, where do you think he'll go? I mean, what kind of... So, here's what I'm looking at. Like, I drafted in the 3rd round last year. I got Jordan Howard, which we talked about earlier. Didn't really...
Okay.
It ended up being okay, but didn't really pay off. I mean, he still was finished behind where I drafted him, and that's in the 3rd. And he finished the 2 years prior to that. He was a top 12 running back. We've seen a couple big games from Derrick Henry, but we've never seen a season where he did anything.
So here's the thing. His start to the season, carry-wise, not as bad as I thought. First game, 10 carries. Nothing crazy. But they had first game you can throw that out. I mean, they had a brand new running back in Deion Lewis. Second game, 18 carries. Third game, 18 carries. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he's getting 18-plus carries a game, obviously.
Didn't do anything. And it was against Houston and Jacksonville, so...
And that's back when Jacksonville was a pretty good defense.
Were they?
Yeah, in the first few weeks.
I guess they were. They held them to 9 points, I guess. That was the 9-6 game, the kick, field goal only game.
It's exciting.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Kind of like the Super Bowl. Next. So this is going to be kind of an argument people have every year. Patriot running backs. Sony Michel was ridiculous in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. What do you think? Is he a target of yours next year?
Trade target late. That seems to be how the Patriots work out all the time. Is they usually settle right around weeks 8 or 9, somewhere in there, on a running back.
Pretty fair.
Yeah. So I mean, if he's the guy there, if you can buy in maybe week 7 and you can sense it coming.
Yeah.
It's a big guess.
I'm gonna say for me, he's probably a 4 get for me.
I mean, what round is he projected to go in?
It's got to be
a little early. But
he's got to be in the 3rd at least. I mean, latest, right?
I'm pretty sure he might be like 2nd.
I figure he's a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
I mean, a lot of people say he's an RB1 next year.
And he very well could be.
I guess it really depends on where my draft board's sitting at that point. I don't think he's the guy I'm necessarily looking for, but
yeah,
if I need an RB2 there, Like if just the wide receivers decimated by that point somehow.
Yeah.
He's all over the place as far as production, but he was a rookie. His playoff production was
He really
special.
didn't get much at the beginning. Well, he was
hurt.
He was hurt
to begin
He was
with,
hurt.
right?
He was hurt. But, we saw. I mean, James White, that guy, he's going to have games where he does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's going to have games where he has 15 catches and, 80 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Rex Burkhead, I don't know if they're bringing him back, but he looked good. And I think they really like him.
So here's a fun stat. Sony Michel's only the 11th running back with more than 5 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs in a single NFL season and the first rookie ever. 7 of the other 11 are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Get his gold jacket ready.
So in the playoffs, he had 53 attempts, 242 yards with 5 touchdowns. That's in 2 games.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good. Yeah.
I think that his stock is going to rise if people saw him in the playoffs because he was unstoppable. He looked really, really good. Even in the Super Bowl, he looked good. Although wasn't a ton of offense.
And we did this a lot with the draft and analysts. Like early in the year, it's all based off of where we ended last season.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
recency bias is real
For sure.
Oh, yeah, and you just see that. Like, oh, he took over at the end. He's going to be the starter, and then we start the season, and he doesn't even touch the ball. Brad Evans.
But
Yeah.
do people remember that in the draft and say that's the last thing I saw? I'm taking him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you got to use something to make your
Right.
predictions.
Right.
So-
James White's next.
To me, the argument against Sonny Michel is not Sonny Michel himself. I think he's awesome, and if he got the work,
Mm-hmm.
he's clearly an RB1 on a good offense. It's not as good as what they have been, and probably won't be as good as what they have been next year as well. I'm assuming, but they seem to want to run the ball more, and when they get into the red zone, especially specifically like in the 5-yard, they're trying to punch it in.
And
The Patriots are almost due to go back to that offense where it's all five
Yeah.
yards downfield. I mean, it could very well. They don't necessarily have to hand off the ball. They could be just
Could be.
they're in
playing
the
the
red
old
zone a
Peyton
lot.
Manning, Tom Brady, 5-yard dump off.
Yeah. I assume that they will want to run the ball though, but my problem is
It's crowded.
Rex Burkhead
It's crowded.
and James White.
Yeah. Even Devlin will vulture a couple.
Yeah, he will.
James White, what do you think about him next year? He was
I think he'll be a value. Whoever grabs him, just like he has been the last couple years. I don't know where Justin got him this year, but it has to be one of
It
the
was
best picks in
late.
the draft, right?
It was late. Maybe.
Probably double digit rounds or mid close.
Yeah, I was going to guess around 10,
Yeah,
11.
that's what I would guess too. Maybe 9 at the earliest.
let's see.
I think it's posted somewhere on the page.
Yeah, he's looking at the draft right now.
Bombers.
They're in order.
Bombers. He's the Bombers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Round 8, not there.
I'm pretty sure he drafted.
9.
I'm pretty sure that's who drafted him, right?
He could have been a waiver pickup.
11th round.
11th
Ooh.
round.
Yeah.
And finished as what, like the RB? He probably was a RB1. I bet he was RB 8, 9, 10,
7.
7. Yeah,
He had a tear there, though.
He did.
I mean, he started off great.
and he didn't finish. He didn't finish year strong.
No. He didn't have a single-digit point game until week 10.
Yeah.
He was double digits until week 10.
Which could you see him doing that again next year? Because I could.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I think that he gets a couple round bump. I don't know that he goes in like the 5th or 6th, but I think I'd see him going in the 9th or 8th.
Maybe.
I mean, I might take him in the 9th or 8th now.
Oh, I would. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in Dynasty. Sure.
I am almost guaranteeing whoever takes him next year is going to be getting a great value.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We already talked about Gronk and Brady, but are either of you targeting either of them? Obviously, Brady now, but Gronk.
I'm
No.
staying away from both of them. I actually fully expect to. I expect if Gronk does come back, which actually I could see it either way. I think he could if he wants to, but I just don't know if he wants to. I expect him to be an elite tight end for football. I don't expect him to be an elite fantasy tight end ever again, though. Not to say he won't have games.
Yeah. He looked a lot better in that Super Bowl. He was moving. I mean, he arguably made the catch that won the game.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
And there was a couple games in the playoffs that he looked good. But I don't think we'll ever see. Could you see him finishing ahead of Ertz or Kelsey?
Definitely not. No, and I don't think he'll be drafted that way anyway. I think his ADP will drop, but you pick him up late, you might get some good value out of it.
Oh yeah, if you can draft him as the 8th, 9th, 10th tight end, sure.
Okay, so this one's one that probably not a lot of people are going to be familiar with, but Damian Williams. Targeting him or not? He signed that extension.
Yeah.
They gave him the money, which means that he's probably the guy.
Yeah. I don't know where he's getting drafted at, but yeah.
Where's gone? Damian Williams could be a surprise RB1 next year. In fact, I would not be surprised.
I was going to say, I don't think I'd be surprised at all. Yeah, I want the running back. I mean, first of all, it's a running back for Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many running backs have you seen in the Andy Reid system be a top 5 running back fantasy-wise, you know?
How many have you not seen?
That's a better question. Kareem Hunt was amazing at the beginning of the year. Damian Williams finished the year really strong. Yeah, clearly, he's a target for me for sure. I don't know where he's going.
I think it'll be hard to know like where ADPs kind of fall, but here's his last 4 games: 19, 30.3, 25, and 12.9.
Pretty good. I'd take
That's
it.
RB1.
Yeah.
That's elite RB1.
I don't think I would take him in the first round, but if I'm at the end of the first round and take,
if somebody took him in the 12th pick, I might be like, that's a good pick, man.
yeah, maybe.
That's a good pick.
Now, did I see something where they said Kareem Hunt could come back and play next year if a team signed him? I mean, I expect that to be like a...
I don't think he's suspended as of right now.
Right. I think what will happen is that they'll announce a suspension. He'll probably appeal it, so he may start the year, and then he'll be suspended at some point that year.
I don't know if he'll even appeal it.
I don't think it would be smart to appeal it. I mean, that's a whole separate
I mean,
conversation.
he's going to get suspended, so, I mean, might as well serve it at the beginning of the season, right?
It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of times they appeal it just because they know they can play right then and there, you know.
And it depends on where he goes.
Because if you're playing, you're making
If he goes. He might not get signed anywhere.
I'm talking about the Bears.
I would love to see him on the Bears.
What happens to Cohen if he goes to the Bears?
I'm not a Cohen fan
do you
anyway.
care what happens to Cohen?
Yeah, I'm just not a Cohen fan.
Not a Cohen fan. He was pretty good this year.
Yeah, he's explosive and he makes a lot of big plays, but he's also kind of boneheaded. Runs around the backfield a lot.
He does. So Tariq Cohen. Let's see.
I would say he's probably RB 13.
11.
So yeah, I don't expect him to be drafted as that.
Definitely not. I think his usage was kind of strange this year because we're like, what did Jordan Howard do to make Matt Nagy mad?
Yeah, right.
What did he do?
And honestly, so Matt Nagy said at the beginning of the year that there were going to be games that were Tariq Cohen games. Like, I can't remember. I think it was the Buccaneers. It was the game. I'm pretty sure that Mitch blew up. I think it was Tampa Bay. In like week, he threw like 6 touchdowns or whatever. And Tariq Cohen had a monster game, and Jordan Howard did nothing. But I think that was a game plan issue. I think Nagy knew that's who he was going to use. And up till that point, the Bucs were pretty good against the rush, so I don't think they planned on using Jordan Howard at all.
So Yahoo's got him as a 4th rounder.
As Cohen?
Cohen. In their too early rankings.
I don't want him there.
So he's right after he's getting drafted around Kerryon Johnson.
Who's some running backs behind him?
Ingram, Josh Jacobs,
tough to
Chris
say.
Carson, James White.
I'd take Carson over him.
Yeah,
I'd definitely take Carson over him.
Philip Lindsay.
They got James White going in the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Lindsay's, I'm assuming, higher than that.
Lindsay's gonna be for sure be higher. I think you might even have him as a 3rd rounder. They do. Give him as 23 overall.
He's pretty solid.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 2nd round, 23 overall. That's into 2nd.
So that's the end of 2nd.
That's
So
legit.
yeah, start your draft off with Gurley and then Philip Lindsay. I'm good with that.
They got Henry at 22.
Do they really? Okay, so I'm off of Henry then.
Sony Michelle at 20.
Yeah, I'm off of Michelle too.
Dalvin Cook at 19.
I can see taking him there. I can see taking him there.
Does he get a rebound?
I think so.
Man, Cook was great.
He looked good. Yeah, he looked
really
good.
good. He was just a little too late for that team, you know.
Yeah.
But he like the eye test was he looked great. I don't know where he ended up, but probably not relevant really.
That's what they called me in high school.
Not relevant, really.
Not relevant, really.
They still call me that. So he ended up okay. So from week 12 on, double digits the whole way. So 16, 18, 19, 29, 13, 10. And did all that with less than 20 carries every
Well,
week.
and the thing is, so they switched their offensive coordinator in
They did.
week 8-ish, whatever.
DeFilippo, and he was the pass every down guy.
Yeah, and they switched. That's why they switched, because they wanted to get to a running game, which is why you saw.
So what happened in the second half of the year to Adam Thielen?
That's exactly what happened.
Drop off was like literally right there.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. They wanted to go to a run heavy offense, and
Okay.
you clearly see the difference. I think Dalvin Cook, he may be a steal in the second round, to be
I think
honest.
he's going to be a steal. So that actually funny. Next on my list is Adam Thielen. Target or not?
Where'd they have him on that too early rankings? Because if he's a third rounder, clearly
I can grab him
I'm
in
targeting
third
him.
round,
And,
sure.
yeah.
He's a late third rounder.
Oh, then absolutely,
I'd take him.
So
Would you take him early third round?
probably. If I wanted to, if I went running back.
Here's early third round projections for Yahoo: Kelsey, Kittle, DJ, Ertz, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Marlon Mack, Damian Williams, Adam Thielen, Leonard Fournette, Stephon Diggs.
You got to take Thielen over Hilton?
Oh man,
That's a tough one. Yeah,
That's tough because
I probably would.
I think
I would
Thielen obviously regresses next year, but he's still a target monster, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be next year.
Yeah.
Not to the same degree.
Would you take him over T.Y. Hilton?
I'm gonna say no.
Would you take Hilton?
Oh, it's super close.
It is really close.
Super
That is
close.
really
That's
close.
because he owned Thielen this year.
I did. I have a bad taste in my mouth for the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but he also was on such a tear at the first.
Yeah,
half.
it was.
So, T.Y. Hilton ended up probably better than you realize.
I figure he's
No.
wide receiver too,
I
right?
feel like he's pretty solid.
He probably was a top tier wide receiver too. So
14?
I think he was 14.
That's where I would guess.
And even though Thielen did fall off, he ended up number 7.
But he was off to such a huge start. I mean,
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton was 14. But T.Y. Hilton, end of the year, he's hit or miss. I mean, 28, 13.
yeah, he's very
28.
back and forth.
That's kind of how he has been his whole career,
he
right?
he was hurt there at the end, though. I mean, like, he was playing on a bad foot.
It's fair.
Thielen's last 4, 12.8, 3.9, 13.3, 6.7.
What was his targets in his last 4 games?
7, 2, 6, and 4. Those are the games where he wasn't getting targeted in the first half.
Wow.
I mean, I know because I was watching it.
I bet.
You're getting really frustrated, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not fun. David Johnson.
I got to say he's probably a target for me. Depending on where he goes, depending on where he is in the draft.
So he is being projected as a early third rounder.
Oh,
Yeah,
clearly a target
all
for me.
day.
So Cliff Kingsbury is known for
Passing to the
passing
running
to
back.
the back.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an upgrade all around, you would think.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury, kind of a weird one because people are saying doesn't really have that much experience, but obviously they like something about him. And I think that they're looking offense.
I got to say, David Johnson, especially seeing he's a huge target of mine.
I agree. If he's sitting there in the
Because he really should be in the second. Come on, I mean.
So here's a couple backs going before him. Philip Lindsay, Derrick Henry, Sony Michel, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Aaron
You're
Jones.
insane. You take Derrick Henry over David Johnson, you're insane.
I don't think I would, no. Philip Lindsay?
I would take David Johnson, although if somebody took Philip Lindsay, I could understand.
Here's the thing. So Philip Lindsay is on a team with, is it Royce Freeman?
Royce
Yeah.
Freeman, yep.
And they have a new coach. So
Yeah.
new coach might come in and say, hey, I like Royce, and I think Royce needs more
Yeah.
play, and that could make a big difference for Lindsay's
Well, the thing is so Philip Lindsay. Now, I'm not going to draw a direct comparison to Alex Collins because I think Philip Lindsay just looked better. He passed the eye test a little better.
Yeah.
But Alex Collins last year had a
Mhm.
great year, but they did not pay the guy. He was a 7th round pick or whatever that came over from Seattle. That team had no allegiance to him at all, and it showed this year. You know, so and Philip Lindsay is the same way in that regard. He was undrafted, right?
Yeah, he was undrafted.
He was undrafted.
Yeah. He's a
He's
local
not
guy.
getting paid anything.
Colorado State, I believe. So he was a local guy, so they
Yeah.
picked him up. But
Right.
he came out of the gate hot.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He looked good. I think he's a good back.
I mean, a lot of people that drafted Freeman were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And
I had
blame them,
Freeman.
'cause
Yeah,
was
I had
wrong.
Freeman in my dynasty league, and I was like, "What the hell?" Luckily, I picked up Lindsay in my dynasty league too. So
Yeah.
if either one of them are good, I'm okay with it. But
And that was when I missed the vote on because I was like, I'm not a believer. I think
Yeah.
Freeman's going to get his day and he's going to
That's-
shine, and he didn't.
yeah, well, the only reason I grabbed him is because it was in dynasty and the team is so deep. But you grabbed him in the main league, right?
And the auction league.
And the auction league. So yeah, I was kind of like you. I'm like, man, do I grab this guy? And I didn't, and I should have.
So let's go through a couple more quick ones. Aaron Jones. He's going as early second.
Not for me.
That's okay.
I can't say he's a huge target of mine, but could I see myself grabbing him in the second? Yeah, I
He's
could.
a little bit of an unknown. I mean, he had some success, sure, but they have a new coach.
They have a new coach, and to be honest, would I be completely shocked if Jamal Williams started the season next year as the starter and had a couple good games, and then we're in the exact same boat that we were this year with Aaron Jones? I can't say that would shock me.
So Aaron Jones must have gotten hurt at the end of the year because his last 3 games were basically he didn't play. But before that, he went on a stretch of 32, 27, 18, 15, 19.
Yeah, you know when that was, right? Right after I traded him.
Well, you got Kamara. I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah, well, look at Kamara's stretch during that time.
He came back.
He did come back.
Okay, so Juju Smith-Schuster. I think everybody's targeting him next year.
Yeah, I gotta say he's probably not a target of mine for that reason, though.
Yeah, because you don't,
Because you
have
don't
to
want
pay
the
the
price
price.
that high on
I
him.
don't want to pay the price for him, yeah. Because I'm assuming Brown's not going to be there.
So Brown, is he your target? Targeting Brown or not targeting?
Suppose it depends on where you go.
Yeah, it all depends on where you go. I'm going to say probably not.
I'm going to avoid him next year.
Yeah.
Just to be safe because you just don't know. I mean,
if he's dressed as a hippo,
I called that earlier, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
you calling that he's dressing as a hippo?
No, I just called that the hippo was
Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown, yeah.
No spoilers?
Well, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was guessing Odell Beckham. And I was like, that's a good guess. But that's Antonio Brown.
Robin Thicke.
Maybe. There's
So-
one of them.
He said Beckham.
He said, yeah. One of them. Huh? Yeah. I just knew, yeah, because you saw the dance. You did the hype.
what about Amari Cooper? Got a mid-third.
Mid-third round? So if you go running back, that's your number 1 wide receiver?
I don't want him.
Well, right in the mix there is Mike Evans,
I'd take
T.Y.
Evans over him.
Hilton,
I'd
take Hilton over him.
Stephon Diggs.
I'd take Diggs over him. They have Diggs going ahead of Thielen?
They have Thielen going ahead of Diggs.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
They're very close.
It was pretty close this year.
Yeah, it was. It was. And it probably should be close, although I think you'd take Thielen over him. I would.
I would now. Last year I didn't think that
No, I agree. You were the highest on Thielen of all 3 of us, I think, right? Neither one of us liked Thielen, did we?
No, I really thought he'd regress. I thought Diggs was going to be the guy.
Yeah, I
To
did
be
too.
fair, I like Thielen a lot. Did I think he would do what he did? Absolutely not.
No.
But I did like him. Mahomes. I'm not going to pay
As
For
a,
me,
as a
yeah.
target, no.
He's going.
Would I
top
take
fourth.
him?
First pick of the 4th.
If he's there in the 5th, late 5th, I would maybe reshuffle my strategy.
Had the most
Maybe
fantasy
even-
points.
Maybe
ever.
even mid 5th.
He had the most fantasy points ever this year.
Yeah.
But like I said this throughout the season. This very well could be his best season of all time.
I fully expect this to be his best season, which is still okay.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
fine.
If he comes out next year and throws 45 touchdowns,
I'm not gonna be disappointed. Yeah.
not as good, still fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably still MVP worthy.
Oh yeah, for sure. But no, I mean, I'm just never gonna be the guy that targets
Quarterback
that early.
Yeah. Kenny G.
Like the Soprano?
Yeah. So smooth.
I mean,
I didn't know he was in the draft.
Mid 4. Oh man, I think he exceeds that value wise. I was big on Kenny G this year.
Yeah.
I mean, there were several.
And
times.
there were a lot of weeks that paid off.
It did. He was very inconsistent. But I kept looking at him and said, he looks like a future wide receiver.
Well, what's some wide receivers going around him?
AJ Green, Robert Woods, Julian Edelman.
Green. I'd take Green for sure.
I'd take Green and Woods over him.
With O'Driscoll throwing to him?
Probably, yeah.
We don't know.
All he's got to do is turn around and throw it over his shoulder, right?
Some people say that Dalton's played his last game. And
Oh, I don't think so.
new coach.
Could be, but I don't think so.
Finally.
I would take.
Yeah.
Well,
I would take all of them. I
Brandon Cooks, he's in there too.
I'd take Cooks.
Cooks or Woods?
I still love Cooks.
Woods.
Me, personally, Cooks.
Woods. Cooks got a ton of targets this Super Bowl, though. He was the target.
Yeah.
He's the big pass target, but I think that... What about Cooper Kupp?
Man.
I have a dynasty, so I hope he's really good.
I think Cooper Kupp, the Super Bowl looks a lot different if Cooper Kupp played.
Yeah, could have been.
I'm a big Cooper Kupp fan.
I don't know. To me, I don't think Kenny G is probably somebody that I will own next year. I think I would take. I think I would take all the receivers that you listed over him.
I think Kenny G is a guy that the average NFL fan does not know who he is.
Yeah, but would you take him over Woods?
No.
You take him over Evans?
No.
Not Evans. I'm sorry, Green.
No.
AJ Green.
Maybe.
Really?
You have no faith in Cincinnati, huh?
I don't, man. Cincinnati burns you. Did they burn you?
No, I had. I guess I traded for Mixon.
I think I might. I don't know.
I was happy with Mixon. I'd be happy with having him again next year.
I think Mixon should be in a lot of people's targets.
I tried really hard to get him from Drew in the Dynasty League. Like I like Mixon a lot.
Lamar Jackson.
Possibly. I don't know where he's getting drafted.
Let's see. I don't think he's really on this list.
If he's
He's not. This only does the top 5 rounds.
Still Baltimore, right?
yeah, if he's a 9th rounder, yeah, he's exactly who I'd be targeting.
Would you rather have him or Josh Allen?
That's a really good question. That's exactly what I was going to say. Quarterbacks like him and Josh Allen, that's who I'm looking for in those late rounds.
So do you guys know who the number 1 quarterback was in fantasy for the last 4
I
weeks?
do know. It was Josh Allen.
It was Josh Allen. Do you know who has Josh Allen in Dynasty?
You know who also, same guy that has Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. On the block if you want him.
Mm-hmm.
He's my last one for target. So, I know we've talked about this a little bit, but free agents. So, Le'Veon Bell is the number 1 offensive free agent this year.
Well, assuming you're not counting Brown, because he's not technically a free agent.
Yeah,
So.
he's not.
But he will go to a new team.
We can talk about him too, but where do you think Bell realistically goes? I mean, I think I've heard... Actually, I haven't heard a whole lot. Oakland, I've heard.
I haven't heard anything recent. I know through the season there was talk of him going to Indianapolis, but...
Oakland was the only credible one I've really heard. I don't even want to say credible, but the only one I've heard recently.
I've heard talk about the Jets.
Jets because they have the money.
Because they have the money, yeah.
But,
and it seems like what they do.
Let's be serious. Can he end up a Patriot?
I don't think Patriots pay for him.
No, they would definitely not. They're notorious for not paying people.
And unless he would just take less money to be a Patriot, but I don't.
That happens
Then why
a
didn't
lot.
he play for the
I know, but
Steelers?
yeah.
Chad Johnson?
Yeah, right, but just because of what Bell did, I assume he just wants the
Post-prime
money.
Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
Bell thinks he's in his prime. He thinks he's worth the money, and that's his whole point of holding out last year.
He's not worth the money.
Absolutely not. Look at what James Conner did.
I mean, this is obviously not the same discussion, and I don't want to get too far off point, but they're just the running backs are not worth the money.
They put a tight end at running back, and he was a stud.
Yeah.
So,
and really were the Rams much worse when C.J. Anderson was filling in for Gurley?
They definitely weren't.
Yeah, they're not. They're just. It sucks for running backs. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be NFL running backs.
So most of the free agents in the NFL this year are defensive. In fact, all the top 15 except Bell are. The next is Teddy Bridgewater.
Poor Teddy.
Yeah, it does feel like his career is kind of a shame, isn't it? Because he looked good when he started. I mean, there's first. What was this? Just first year, first 2 years, maybe.
It may have been the second year when he was pretty good. I thought it was pretty surprising when he was traded.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, I mean, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think and as a Bears fan, I'm super happy they did that. I think the Vikings made a huge mistake bringing in Cousins, paying him all that money, and not keeping one of the 3 quarterbacks they had last year.
so
Specifically, probably Bridgewater, but
where do you think Bridgewater goes? And I know there's a couple quarterback vacancies, kind of. The buzz is that Foles is going to Jacksonville.
yeah,
So that's probably not where he's going to go. So
I don't know. I don't know who needs a quarterback. I'm trying to think of.
you got to think, is a team going to sign him as their starter?
Probably not.
No. I'm hearing Miami wants to move on from Tannehill, but they're rumored to draft Kyler Murray. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter for fantasy purposes.
Probably
I don't
not.
think so.
I think that he could, be somewhere as a backup and be, a streamer type of a guy, but I don't know that anybody's drafted him, of course. Not too many other offensive players on here. There's a couple linemen. So really no.
Shouldn't be a bunch. Yeah, shouldn't be a
It's
big
mostly
bunch of big
Bell.
changes then, right?
So Antonio Brown, what do we think about him? Where do you think he could go? Because you got to think of a team that's willing to give up what they say they're asking for.
You don't even know.
Boy, wouldn't it be fun to see him and Odell on the same team?
Yeah.
Man, I don't think
That's a
both
lot of
personalities
personality.
would make it.
That's a lot of personality. Takes
I
a
mean,
special meaning to take care of that.
They both get upset when they don't get the ball.
Yeah.
I think that Antonio Brown on the Jets is incredibly interesting.
I would, be interested in
Young
seeing that.
quarterback. They've got Robbie Anderson as the over-the-top guy.
I like
in the
Darnold.
slot. Darnold, yeah.
I liked him. I mean, I watched some of his games, and I mean, he looked like a rookie, obviously, but
Sure.
Yeah, but aren't the Jets kind of like becoming what Oakland was forever? It's where the good wide receivers go to die.
Could be.
Yeah, but quarterbacks are known for taking that big step in their second year. So, if you see a quarterback...
Yeah, it worked for Sanchez. Right?
Hey, they went to the FC Championship, so that's pretty good.
Was that his second year?
I think so.
It might have been.
I thought second year was butt fumble.
They,
I think it
they
also
might not
was.
be mutually exclusive.
That's fair.
Sanchez, didn't he play a game this year with the Redskins? Or
Yeah, he did.
he got hurt, I believe.
Oh, speaking of, I mean, that could be Bridgewater or
That's true.
Foles because they said
they're saying Smith probably won't play all year.
probably won't play next year, and he may never play again.
Or ever, yeah. But they say they think he's coming back, maybe. But
But even if he comes back, he's not coming back next year.
not absolutely not. So yeah, Bridgewater would be a pretty good signing there, maybe if they think.
They're gonna have something.
I mean, they like Cole. He's been there for a while, but he got hurt too. So
They got to have something. And honestly, I think as a franchise, you have to plan. You might hope that that Alex Smith is coming back, but I think you have to plan as if he's not. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them draft a quarterback.
that's true. So I've looked at a couple mocks so far for the real draft, and they're saying Dwayne Haskins to the Giants at 6 and Kyler Murray 13th to the Dolphins. Those are the only two. I think is there Greer? Is he coming out of West Virginia? I'm not as up on college football as I should be.
I'm not either. And honestly, I don't think this is a great year for quarterbacks.
It's not. They're saying the year after is supposed to be a big year for quarterbacks, and they're saying some teams are even possibly waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tough to say. Well, anybody have any closing thoughts they want to throw out there?
I guess just congratulations to Justin.
Oh man, do we want to talk about the worst out in the playoffs of all time?
What?
For him to
out?
randomly all of a sudden wind up in the finals,
Yeah.
right? You
At
just
whose expense?
I don't know.
I lost on a stat correction. Okay, I'm not
That was pretty bad.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty
I don't know.
bad.
You lost on a statistic. Just it was late getting there.
It was. Yeah, it was.
It was what it was brutal.
Yeah, I bet that
It was
that's brutal,
brutal.
right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty happy that wasn't me.
I will tell you that he called me that morning. He says, "How am I in the finals?" he said he turned on TV to watch a football game and decided to load it up, and then he called me up. He's like, "How am I in the finals?" He says, "Oh wait, I see it now. There was a stat correction. That's crazy."
Yeah.
The day of the games. So he had a little bit of time to adjust his roster, I suppose.
Wow.
Yeah, I was aware of it before that.
Yeah.
It is
And
what it
he
is.
beat me the week before, and of course, then the week
And
after that,
you scored like 160
Yeah,
this week.
of
Yeah,
course.
so you would have destroyed me. But you know what? That's fantasy football. The playoffs were really weird scoring-wise this year.
Yeah, they were.
That second round was brutal for everybody. So, you know, it is what it is. So, if anybody listens to this, which honestly I'm not sure if anybody will, but if you're listening to this and you want to do this with us sometime, we'd be happy to do it. So just say something. Until next time, if there is a next time. Bye.
See ya.